Welcome back to Brashonomics. A little Velcro mindset. A Seattle band starting to take over some of the charts around the country. Cameron Johnson joins us. A Valentine's Day radio show. Welcome, Cameron.
Thanks for having me.
You know, Cameron, you've been in the barter exchange industry with Itex. Now you have your own franchise of it in Seattle, which is fantastic. Congratulations. You know, using barter as a way to increase relationships. I mean, I guess you're kind of a purveyor of relationships as people come to you to not only create new business relationships from people within your network, but also to kind of cultivate those over time.
Yeah, that's correct. And because we're sort of a shrunk down version of a bigger economy, you know, what goes around comes around pretty quickly in a community like ours. And so maintaining those strong relationships and sort of keeping with the theme of today, showing the love, so to speak, is definitely definitely important.
Showing the love, baby. Where do you kind of see those relationships? How do you see them growing, I guess would be a...
You know, the best thing that we like to see really is when our customers start proactively putting their heads together and engaging in deals really without our assistance at all. You know, we refer customers to one another all the time. I need a contractor, I need a plumber, I need an attorney, etc. We help them do what they can. But our favorite thing is when they call us and say, oh, you know, I've already talked to the AC person and he's redoing all the units in my building and we're doing this for them. And we can see that sort of, once the relationship flourishes outside of our direct involvement, then we really know, you know, this is something that's made a difference in their business that they're just taking off and running with on their own.
And then that ultimately makes you feel like not only has that's that transaction of you guys getting started with them, and then as we talked about building out that relationship.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Love in the air with clients, right?
It is. And you know, when your buddies are your buddies too, so to speak, if that makes sense. You know, they met through us and now they've got their own thing going.
As long as you still get invited to the stuff.
Sure, yeah. we get to come to the party.
That's right. You know, there's a lot of different, with relationships, there's a lot of interaction within offices, and I don't mean a lot of, you know, loving relationships necessarily, but, you know, relationships that do still need cultivation. And iTex is certainly a way for, it gives people a way to, I mean, as you mentioned before, an alternative method of kind of compensating, helping out maybe some of the people that work with you, for you. Yeah,
we've got a lot of customers that I've seen do very cool things for their team members. You know, thank yous for clients and things are pretty traditional, but, you know, going outside and the box or above and beyond to take care of your own people, I think says a lot about a business. You know, it's one of the things we look for in the businesses we work with. And I brought a few examples today just because I think some of our people are able to do maybe non-traditional things through trade, you know, because they're using their leverage, they're using their own margins to get ahead of the curve and do things maybe other companies in their industry or their peers couldn't do. For example, we have a towing company based here in Bellevue that does so
you can pay your employees old towing bills.
Well, sure, you know, but they actually have dental care done for all of their employees, their drivers and everybody through trade. And I don't think most tow trucks provide dental plans. But because they're trading a little bit, they take a few extra jobs and they keep their employees. They show them how much they care about them. You know, things like that, getting ahead of things.
You know, I know that you guys have like a limo company.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a story that I had heard at some training session umpteen years ago, probably not that long, maybe 5 years ago, about, you know, overhearing as an employer, somebody discussing maybe going to a concert and trying to figure out who's going to drive. And being able to go, you know what, here, why don't I get you guys a car, a limo, you can go have a whole bunch of fun. And that, I mean, even though it's not the most expensive thing, but it's certainly something that shows you can kind of go above and beyond, as you mentioned.
In a lot of ways, the thought really is the thing that counts. And like you said, you don't have to break the bank. If you're trading, you don't have to break it at all. Letting people know you're thinking about them, that you care, can go a long way.
What are some of the other things or other examples that people are using for trade to maybe compensate their employees rather than for personal gain?
I brought a few favorite examples, so I'm glad you asked.
That's why I'm here.
I got one of our customers does gym memberships for all their employees, promoting good health, etc. We've got a customer that has offices in different cities around the country, and they buy restaurant and coffee stand gift certificates for them. Little things here and there. I actually have one of my biggest clients recently had one of his key employees. They had their house got flooded, actually, pipes burst, etc. And he put him up on a hotel for 2.5 weeks. So it's sort of an extended stay hotel that he traded for. So, short-term housing. That was fairly expensive, when it was all said and done, but he traded for it. So he wasn't dipping into his reserves. And you know how much that person appreciated being able to move his wife and kids into a non-flooding home and not have to break his own, savings account.
Some of the other things you'd even mentioned is travel, vacations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
vacation bonuses.
Who doesn't? Yeah. I mean, just the ability to go help somebody do that.
Especially nowadays when times are tight for people, the ability to do little things here and there, splurge on something you couldn't splurge on, it can go a long way psychologically.
The when you're helping your employees or trying to do these extras, is there also a way? I mean, that's certainly good. On Valentine's Day, probably a little bit more focused on our wives and husbands. You can also not do this business-to-business trade with exchange, with barter. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're talking about getting a little more personal as far as thank yous and showing people you care about them, we actually had a little Valentine's Day feature a few weeks ago where a bunch of our clients came in and got flowers for their wives and or assistants or girlfriends or whomever it may be. Guys are buying spa packages for their ladies, or we've actually got a guy that does couples massage classes. So people that want to get romantic later on can get this cool education.
Can get started there, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely the personal services come into things, and you can do it on that side too.
Do you think that there is a bigger? Do you think that people have an easier time spending their trade dollars? Do they feel like? It is. It has value.
Absolutely, but I think because it's easier come. We shuffle business their way, and so I think in the back of their minds, I can get more of this business if I need to. I can call my trade broker. I can call Itex, and they'll get me some more clients. So it is easier for them to splurge a little bit, to maybe get the town car for their employee that's going to the concert, because they know that if they're working with a good company, that they'll jump on it and make sure that they replace that revenue if they need to.
And it's like, I think as you said at the very beginning, it's not just opening that relationship, there's a level of maintaining it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have the ability, you guys have almost this concierge service, and that really does allow those relationships to flourish. And I think, as you mentioned even before, when they flourish without your guys' intervening,
that's when you've really become successful. Is that you've created a relationship that's comfortable enough for them to move forward without you being involved. They're just business partners now.
Do you see that happening more with the down economy, or do you see that happening less?
It depends on the personality type, to be honest. We do see it happening quite a bit, but it's people that have the mindset, and this is true, I'm sure, outside of trade as well as inside, that go out and create those connections. They're the same people are the ones that are always calling us with things like that.
The movers and shakers, the rainmakers.
Indeed.
I never realized that rhymed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Help me understand, just before we go, we're going to have to go to break here in just a couple minutes. Any big things that you guys have had? Any big stories? You'd mentioned before somebody had gotten an entire trip to Mexico or Hawaii or something. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad Valentine's Day gift for somebody, and that's a way you can use that exchange.
No, yeah, we actually had a guy surprise his wife this year with a trip to Hawaii. He's taken her and the kids to the Big Island of Hawaii for 3 weeks in next month, and that was like the Valentine's Day splurge he did for her. And he's paying his airfare. He's got to get over there somehow, but the whole stay is paid for on trade, so he's not. It's not going on the old visa.
Which certainly makes it much more understandable. And I think as you talk about times being tighter, I think there's probably that element of both husband and wife enjoying not splurging their cash that they may have designated for, whether it be things like retirement or just making sure they have that nest egg
College
at home.
fund, rainy day fund. Yeah, people definitely feel better that I'm getting to do these great things and it's not affecting my existing budget, so to speak.
Well, Cameron, thanks so much for joining us. And I mean, as you mentioned, it's not just about the Valentine's Day. It's not just about the people that you care about the most, but also being able to know that throughout the year that you care about people and utilizing something that has a, I guess, cash equivalent, but isn't actually your business's cash, certainly would have a big piece in being able to attain that.
Yeah, and keep people happy and working hard and enjoying doing business with you.
And it is incredible how people do enjoy doing business when they know you care. I still get blown away at how a handwritten note means so much to people.
It's getting rarer these days.
It is rare because it's so easy to email. But, you know, those simple handwritten notes and, you know, if you can send people to Hawaii with your Itex exchange.
That's just as good as a note, I think.
I think they're really going to know you like them. That's for sure. That's Cameron Johnson, owner of the Seattle's Itex Business Exchange. When we come back, a little more Valentine's Day special, understanding what the people who work for you should be doing to show that they care. My name's Ben Brash, and Brett Chittum is coming up. You're listening to Brastronomics.